What's up, everybody? Hopefully, all is well. We have some scary and interesting TikToks today. Like, comment your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button. We've really been doing our thing. I appreciate everyone, and let's get on to it.
Drove past the cemetery with her 3-year-old daughter. Now, they would drive past it every day. 3-year-old would tell her mom that people in there were waving at her. This would go on for a while until they decided to stop driving past the cemetery forever. This is because the daughter mentioned that there was an old lady wanting her to come in there. An aunt asked her niece to draw her imaginary friend for her. And this is what she drew. A humanoid figure with about 10 legs and their head detached. A little girl was playing in the McDonald's playhouse by herself and alone. The mother took this picture of her in the tunnel. To their surprise, in the photo, they saw another child. But mind you, she was playing in there alone. When they asked their daughter who it was, she said, "That's my imaginary friend, Beto." A little boy told his dad he had an imaginary friend. He called him the Hanging Man and said he would visit him in his room every night. And even drew a picture of him for his dad. So the dad hid a camera in the child's room to see what he was talking about and caught this. Check this out.
Hey Eliza, do you remember the day you were born?
No, but I remember the earth would open and I crawled out of hell.
Do they have a return policy on children? Because I think she needs one. Speaking of birth, there is a 1 in 365 chance of you meeting someone with your exact birthday. Put your birthday down below to see if you can find your twin. Make sure to hit that follow button because part 2 is crazy.
You know what's wild about that? I remember a story. The kid said Woods needed sacrifice to his parents.
Don't do this TikTok trend.
Wait, what is it?
So it all started in Arizona when kids would take tape and put it on the bridge of their glasses. Then at midnight, they would stare at the moon, but maybe for the last time.
What?
So listen, as they were staring at the moon, they were teleported to a room that had an eye exam. A man dressed in all black, wearing a monocle, forced them to do the eye exam, and if you failed, he would rip your eyes out. During the exam, you couldn't wear glasses, so the kids would have to manipulate light to be able to see.
How would they control light?
Well, it's the pinhole effect. If you make a small hole with your hands to look through, it will reduce the amount of light that hits your eyes. This makes what you're looking at way less blurry. The kids who did this were the only ones to escape.
Can't they just use echolocation?
This woman did still leaves locals speechless 65 years later. In the small town of Goobersville, Indiana, in the year 1957, a chilling incident unfolded. Karen Noodleman, a 16-year-old girl with a haunting past, resided in an insane asylum. Known for causing the tragic loss of her family members, she was deemed dangerous after a lobotomy gone wrong when she was just 13. One eerie night, during the routine morning roll count, Karen was nowhere to be found in her cell. Panic ensued as the asylum doctors discovered a hidden hole behind her Marilyn Monroe poster. The entire facility went on high alert, and the police were immediately notified. Concern for the safety of Karen's remaining family members grew, particularly her younger brother, who was living with their grandparents. Multiple attempts to reach out to her grandparents went unanswered, deepening the sense of unease among the asylum staff and law enforcement. With a sense of urgency, the authorities rushed to Karen's grandparents' home. They pounded on the front door, yelling, "Police!" Uncertain of what they would find inside, someone finally opened the door, but it wasn't who they expected.
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. What if it was another person she met up with? Another person that escaped with her?
This was the most evil lady that ever lived. During the early 1900s in East New Jersey, a fortune teller lady named Luna Tick had a shop at the outlet mall. Most people avoided her shop because of how strange she was. But when they did enter, she would read their palms and give them a date when their life would end. The creepy part about this was that she was always correct and started to gain local fame. But when a skeptical off-duty officer named Pepe Roney went in for a reading, he was told that today would be his last. He quickly insulted Luna, saying that she was a fraud and that he would be right back here tomorrow to prove it. Pepe decided to stay the night in at his home just in case, because he knew her track record of being correct. After dozing off around 10 p.m., he would wake up randomly and would become face to face with Luna, and she would creepily say, "Sorry, did I wake you?" A scuffle between them would happen, and Pepe was able to escape her grasp, but she continued chasing him down the hallway, yelling, "I am just fulfilling your destiny." She was able to catch up to him, and she tackled him down the stairs. When he awoke, Luna was still unconscious on the ground, so he decided to handcuff her to a railing and went out to get help. But when they returned, she was gone. After everyone left, Pepe decided to go lay down and relax. But out of nowhere, he heard a whisper say, "Let's try this again."
Man, it would have been hard for me to sleep in the house. Like, I couldn't just lay down after she disappeared like that.
Explain the Philip experiment, just for people who don't know.
Philip experiment. So in the early 1970s, it was Toronto in Canada. There was a group of researchers/scientists. Their thought was, can we create a haunting? Do we create hauntings? So what they did was they came up with this whole profile of a person who had lived in. Then they started to conduct essentially seances. You know, they would say, okay, do this thing if the answer is yes. Do this thing if the answer is no. And they knew the answers because they had written them. And the objective phenomena that would happen would correlate with the ghosts they created and the answer that they knew that they had written down. Did they create it, or did they invite something in? Or is it just, you know, maybe they got it wrong and it's just totally explainable.
Yeah.
But that's the Philip experiment.
That's wild, playing with stuff like that.
These secret societies, what I found was really astounding. They're nothing new. They track back through older secret societies. They go back in through Illuminized Freemasonry, back to the Knights Templars, back through the Cathars, back through the Rosicrucians, go all the way back to the ancient mystery schools of Greece and Egypt. And even those schools do not spring in whole cloth into existence. They are remnants of the older secret societies in the world, which date all the way back to the ancient Sumerian civilization. And they left behind clay tablets still in existence, which basically state that they were the product of a colonization by people from space. Over a period of 30, 35 years, I have studied, read, talked, experienced, and I want to tell you they're real, they're here, and yes, within the inner core elite, they definitely have power. These people run the major banks, major insurance companies. Now, we don't really stop and think about these folks or these organizations, but they exert a tremendous impact on the lives of every single individual. The premier secret society is the Bilderbergs. They're so secretive they don't even have a name. They call the Bilderbergs because they were discovered meeting first in the early 50s in the Bilderberg Hotel over in Holland. They were being headed by Prince Bernhard of the.
That's wild. Do y'all believe what he was saying?
This is scary. Did you hear that story about that guy from Friends, the famous sitcom with Jennifer Aniston? His name is Matthew Perry. You have probably heard of him before. He passed away last year after drowning in his own jacuzzi. After this, a lot of people began to question the true cause of his death because they thought something much scarier happened. And it makes sense because listen to this. He took a picture of him in the jacuzzi the very same night that the incident happened. Before passing away, he had posted about Batman on his social network apps. And in one of the posts, there was video footage of somebody throwing down 3 cranberries on a table. Remember, this was his last video he ever recorded. Well, listen to this. There was actually a band named Cranberries, and guess what? Their lead singer just also happened to pass away by drowning. But that's not it. He also had a book where he wrote that if he ever threw a Batman symbol out, he is in trouble. Some people think this is part of some secret Hollywood ritual or something like that. How do you feel about this?
What do y'all think? And that's AI, by the way. I believe so.
So I was walking into the store here, put my handle on the door, and I heard a loud bang and yelling over here at the corner. Just as a cloud of smoke pops up, and I see a guy fall into the ditch, and a 4-foot blade hurling at me as I'm walking through the door.
That's wild.
I'm P. Diddy right now. when in actuality, everybody should be focusing their eyes on this man, Sir Lucian Grange, aka the chairman and CEO of Universal Music Group. Yes, the same Universal Music Group that had all of its artist music taken off of TikTok. This situation is way bigger than anybody really thinks. And hopefully I'll be able to open your eyes just a little bit more. And there's numerous accusations of Lucian and UMG sponsoring these parties, including from artists like J-Lo herself. It gets pretty dark. And if you really want to get deep, over 70% of the songs that just so happen to be on the Billboard 100 just last year in the last quarter of December, okay, were literally owned by Universal Music Group, people. And in the 1,000 plus page documents, Lil Rod Jones and a lot of other defendants as well admit that Lucian himself was at each one of those parties. So that in itself should really tell you something. And did you know, across the course of Lucian's career, Grange has worked with the likes of ABBA, Drake, Elton John, Jay-Z, Katy Perry, Queen, Rihanna, the Rolling Stones, Sam Smith, U2, and Amy Winehouse. Oh, and ironically, Grange is a Sir by virtue of being knighted by the Queen of England in 2006 for services to British business and inward investment, as well as his accomplishments.
Nah, he doing too much. Who knows? He might be innocent. We're guilty.
Time fishing in Georgia.
Ooh.
Wait for it.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Yeah, see? They're crazy. That's a better one. Oh no. It's in there. I need my stuff. Oh my god!
God! Ben, run! Oh my god! Oh my god! I got that on video! Oh my god!
Alright, we gotta go.
That ain't nothing to play with. You know, at the end of the day, could have took his leg. He blessed him without one.
This don't make no sense. I don't care what you say. We can't create these type of statues today. So let me ask you, what kind of technology was they using in the 1500s that could create statues like this? This is a statue of...
Y'all think they replicate that? Is that even a real statue? I don't know.
Why his arm moving like that?
Could be having a muscle spasm. You know, you work out really hard. From my personal experience, sometimes a muscle do some weird stuff. What is this? That little wild. That little wild.
Beautiful city of LA, just before the turn of the 1900s. And a look at how the numbers just don't add up. All these old and very aged brick buildings amongst the muddy and dirty roads with the bleached out white skies. And of course the photoshopped or added in American flags afterwards. I mean, when you're the U.S. hotel, you better show a U.S. flag on it, right? Oh, and of course this was in the 1880s. Let's take a look at the population of LA then. Not too shabby for just over 10,000 people. Not too shabby at all. And for a town that big, you certainly need a hospital built that large. And for so many patients, don't worry, it only took them just under a year to build it. Really takes the word founded to a whole new meaning. These buildings weren't built rapidly in a year for a population just over 10,000. This was a founded city. I guess the guy in charge of bleaching out the skies tried to just rush out for the weekend there. I mean, what are these? Come on. Again, they're telling us this is all just relatively new construction. Doesn't look aged or weathered a bit. Certainly that's why everybody's excitedly posed around it. The founded structures. Or in the Arcadia here in 1890. Nice little shacks and shanties right up next to it. And another hotel, the Raymond Hotel in 1886. Just in case the whole entire population of 10,000 plus people wanted their whole families and extended families. They had 2 locations. One hotel for your immediate family and one hotel for your in-laws, I guess. And of course, who could forget the Castle Schools? No town of just over 10,000 is complete without them. The first street light being installed in 1882. That's certainly a nice spot for a street light. But of course, Los Angeles, just like anywhere else, erasing all the beauty of the old world piece by piece. As Napoleon said it best, history is nothing more than a set of lies agreed upon. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
That's wild. Do y'all believe that them pictures are real?
Musk has once again made global news, and you're gonna love this one. The news drama centers around a Canadian news company called CBC, and all the fuss boils down to this label as a government-funded media. Now, even though it's obvious to anyone with internet access that this company receives a substantial amount of funding from the government, the company has decided to throw a total fit, saying that they are no longer going to use Twitter because this suggests that their journalism is not impartial and independent. They honestly want you to believe that receiving over $1 billion a year from the government does not affect their reporting whatsoever. And just like you would expect, the Canadian dictator Justin Trudeau has come out to protect his assets, saying that it's shameful for anyone to attack an independent news media. And even though this has been controversial, I think it's pretty safe to say that any institution that doesn't like transparency is probably trying to hide something.
Would y'all agree? If somebody not transparent, they trying to hide something?
A guy who wrote a thesis in quantum physics on a very esoteric, complicated problem set, and he asked Claude 3 to solve this problem set, and it came up with his thesis. It was really like extraordinary, and this is something he's like, no one in the world knows this stuff, and he's like, I can't believe this model like came up with my thesis. And that's the sort of thing that very few people on Earth even read or understand, and the Claude 3 model was able to kind of recreate the basis, the build-up, and then the output of his.
That's crazy. Is it just something new that it came up with, or is it the information at his hand and it just happened to see it? What do y'all think?
This is the largest Andean condor ever filmed. It has a wingspan of nearly 20 feet and stands 8 feet tall. It's incredible. He is filmed with his female courting her. The Andean condor is the largest bird of prey in the world. This particular specimen is believed to be around 60 years old, meaning it has lived 6 decades with an impressive wingspan and longevity. It was filmed by Andean farmers because the 2 condors landed near their house. The male was courting the female. You can see the male's wingspan compared to the buildings in the background, which is quite impressive. This male weighs about 200 kilos. We're far from small seagulls, falcons, or owls here. This is a super predator with incredible longevity. Look at the pink colors on its neck, its enormous beak, its white collar. It's magnificent. It's fascinating to see such a large and majestic animal interacting so closely with humans. The farmers who captured this unique scene are very fortunate.
Wow.
This is an amazing sight.
Oh my God, look how long
This thing is probably at least 50 feet long. No, it's longer than that. It's got to be like the dinghy's 15 feet.
It looks like a Chinese dragon.
Now you see where sea dragons came from.
Yes, oh, it's beautiful.
He's dying. I wouldn't mess with it. They die. When they come to shallow water, they're dying. They're very deep water fish.
Sightings are extremely rare, and this video is the only time the creature has been filmed alive. first sighted washed up on a beach in Bermuda in 1860, the fish grows to a length of 30 feet. Unlike the fearsome sea serpent, the oarfish is toothless and quite harmless.
They may be sick, they may be damaged, but they are certainly fascinating to look at. As you see this silvery ribbon of a fish, it's not difficult to imagine how sea serpent stories could have grown.
That thing looked like a big tuna fish.
So here's a video of a U.S. Marine using a bird drone that's actually flapping its wings and flying through the air. Now, apparently, China's been using drones that have characteristics of actual birds for quite some time to be used in urban environments because it would be natural, covering concealment on cause like hiding in plain sight, because it doesn't look like a drone from far away. And you would know it was a drone until you were holding it right in front of you. But they could still conduct reconnaissance with it and do whatever they wanted with it. Apparently back in 2018, they had a government program code named Pigeon, creating drones that look like birds. Now, they didn't disclose whether or not they were going to be intended for operations in urban environments. Engineers from the Middle Kingdom created a mechanical flying bird wing, 1600 grams, with a mechanical wingspan of 2 meters. And it was powered by a lithium battery and was able to stay in the air for an hour and a half. Do you think they've been using these in the US? Comment below.
They have.
Crazy as this. As far as you can see, just rocks.
Dude, I wonder how many layers of rock this is.
Dude, it's insane.
Not even the trees have grown through.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just.
That's interesting.
Alright, so I thought I'd let TikTok in on a little secret I found out. Out here in the panhandle of Texas, we've got these bags. As you can see, they're stretched out a long ways. What we're doing is the government has us out here catching the wind and backing it up. So all these bags, as far as you can see, have wind in them from yesterday. And then we'll bag today's wind as well. And that way, on non-windy days, they can release it and keep the breeze blowing. It's a new project, as you can see. I mean, we're in a government facility with a nice fence, barbed wire on top. Yeah, I just thought I'd let TikTok in on this. It's kind of mind-blowing to me.
That sounds crazy. I ain't got nothing to say. What y'all think about that one?
Chega mo. Tevre ma un po' breve di sto cinema hantetke. Enge und geniando zdog sisik pukukla nam embremenesto. Stello gla hamalana lelo lendile engren in stelest karatak.
That's fake. You can't tell me out here saying that. They did some like voiceover or something. Dang. That's somebody's car? Or is that like one of those Google cars? Like, dang. That's wild. That's a leg or a shoe? Oh, that's a shoe. I see it. Run.
Where did Adam and Eve actually come from? There is a theory that the Adam and Eve we know today actually came from another world. Well, you see, the theory goes that aboard the ship Eden, Adam and Eve were on a mission to colonize a new world, to start a new life. However, the ship's AI system named Satan initiated a crash landing on a planet that would later be known as Earth. As Eden was damaged, Adam and Eve were forced to leave the ship and start a new life without resources and no contact with their original civilization. But to make matters worse, the radiation from the AI Satan had already poisoned the ground, making it so much harder for Adam and Eve. Even though this version of the story is way different from the original version in the Bible.
I don't know. I think that's somebody's fantasy, overwriting the Bible. So that's crazy. Interesting, but crazy.
A new study shows the world's richest 1% account for more carbon emissions than the poorest 66%. What responsibility do you think the super rich have to act in a sustainable way as we see so many of these climate impacts falling on the backs of the world's poor?
Yeah, so, I spend about $9 million a year, so I'm buying sustainable aviation fuel and to cancel out my footprint. I wouldn't claim in any way, that means I can leave the problem alone, because I should use my skills and money to drive innovation, so that this problem doesn't just get solved for my emissions, it gets solved for everyone's emissions. I hope more people of wealth get involved in this, just like, I hope they get involved in philanthropy. And
man, he be talking some great circles, boy. He be Mr. Circle.
U.S. Space Force, yeah, that's still a thing. Yeah, now they've got a new unit to track foreign threats to our satellites, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure that's real true. But who cares really about that? Who has any idea what these people are doing? Look at their new logo. You see that? Let's take a closer look. Yeah, there you go. Nothing says US of A better than, an Egyptian god. Apple pie, the 4th of July, and, King Tut. What is going on? For real. So we got, one side of the light, one side of the dark. You got the duality. We got the stupid Star Trek logo that everyone made.
That's wild. What y'all think about that?
I finally worked out why you were all asking me if we are restarting the LHC on April 8th. Hi, my name is Clara and I am a particle physicist working on the Atlas experiment at CERN. In fact, I've just finished a night shift in our control room. And I've now finally understood why I'm getting these messages saying, are you starting the LHC on April 8th? It's because the solar eclipse in the US also happens to be on April the 8th. Just to let you know, well, the LHC is already back on. We've been having beams back in the accelerator since the beginning of March, specifically March 8th, and we have been commissioning the Large Hadron Collider, which means checking that all of the settings and everything's running properly before we do the collisions for data taking, and that's what's happening on April 8th. So we have already been doing test collisions, but it's the regular running that starts on April the 8th, and it's the same thing that happens every year. It just happens to coincide with an astronomical event, but it could be that we are ahead of schedule and it might even happen a day earlier. It could be that extra things need to be tested. It could be a day later. So the timing is a...
You know what's crazy about that, y'all? She look like the woman that's like on them scary horror movies. She opening up portals, going places she shouldn't be going. She just give me them vibes.
Yo, can somebody explain to me what the hell is that? Where is it? What is that, yo? That thing is not moving. That looks like a flying saucer. What is that? The thing is just not moving at all in the sky. Come closer, come closer.
Now that's crazy, y'all. What y'all think about that? Drone? UFO? Now this right here could be a person on the building, excuse me, or a person, a witch, who knows? Broomstick, boat action, flight action, levitation action. I just all types of actions. That's kind of strange. I ain't got that type of courage to be playing with stuff. Some of the smoothest criminals fell from buildings. I won't be one of them because I don't like being that high up anyway. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, comment your thoughts, hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to continue to work on the content and elevate. Thank you, family. Catch y'all next time.